and its tenders procedures and the breaches thereof via the Street Lighting Implementation Unit and its own pursuit of the installation of streetlights in Trinidad to the Attorney General for his review and report in 2 weeks' time on further action that he would recommend should be taken on this report. By way of background, you will recall that the issue of the report into TNTEC's tendering procedures and procurement systems and the Street Lighting Implementation Unit was a report that was commissioned by the former Minister of Public Utilities. TNTEC submitted a report to the Minister, and the Minister sent the report to the Audit Committee of the Ministry of Finance. The Audit Committee of the Ministry of Finance responded to the Minister, conveying its findings. The Minister then, and here's where we start to get dates, because up until now we have had no dates. The then Minister, sent that report of the Audit Committee of the Ministry of Finance to the Auditor General for the Auditor General's comments, and that was done on October the 2nd, 2009. The Auditor General replied on October 15th, 2009. Thereafter, the then Minister indicated that he had sent the report to the Attorney General, the then Attorney General. However, we have been able to find no correspondence in the ministry which conveyed that report, or via which that report was conveyed to the Attorney General. Having given you that picture, I want to indicate that as a result of the meetings that I've had with the representing union recently, and the fact that they had raised this matter, which I promised to look into, and having looked into it, I submitted this report that I did today to Cabinet. I want to highlight some of the things, some of the findings. Number one, there was a breaking up of contract values in order to award contracts without the need for obtaining the supervisor's approval. Now, in the scheme of things in TNTEC's tendering procedures, at certain levels, at different levels, you have different quantum that the supervisor could approve. So that, for example, at a lower level, you can approve, the supervisor could approve a $50,000 contract, and then it may go to 100,000 to 500,000, and then when you get into the millions, you have to get the approval of the tenders committee of the board of TNTEC. In order to avoid some of these supervisory limitations, the contract values, as I said, were broken up in order to award the contracts. Secondly, there were situations where sole selective tenders were done, thereby bypassing the need for inviting tenders for supply of goods and services. In some cases, the technical specifications were changed after tenders were received in order to favor a particular contractor. On other occasions, the tendering procedures were bypassed in order to make direct purchases from suppliers. In yet other cases, and I have number 5 written here, the receipt of goods and services or goods and services, sorry, were received weeks in advance of purchase orders being generated. And this was, of course, a blatant disregard of the tendering and purchasing procedures. So that goods were supplied, and then the purchase orders were sent out by the particularly Department of Tea and Tech requesting the goods. 6, there were several incidents of the purchasing of materials on the ground of urgency when no urgency existed. And via this means, of course, one could favor a particular contractor over another or over others. There was a particular case where there was a purchase from a single supplier of nuts and bolts and washers totaling $5.9 million. And these purchases were made by direct purchases rather than via competitive bidding. In yet another case, in order to circumvent the need for approval of the overall sum of $2.7 million, which was the total value of the goods purchased, 6 purchase orders were generated on the same day in favor of one firm for the supply of these materials. So they would break up the tender into several bits and pieces in order to bypass the need for getting approval for the entire $2.7 million. And finally meaning the final item that I would wish to highlight today, but I forewarn you that there are others in the report. The chairman of the commission was also the chairman of the tenders committee and the contracts committee and the audit committee. So the natural checks and balances that one would have by having different persons head these different committees was done away with, so that you had no oversight of one committee over another. Now, as indicated, we in the Ministry of Public Utilities have submitted our findings to the Cabinet, and the Cabinet took its decision today. And that decision, I have already indicated to you, is that the report be considered by the Attorney General, and he will say, his office will say where we proceed from this point. Thank you.